If you're an entrepreneur like me and you feel like it is taking way too long for you to become successful, I'm about to make you feel a lot better about yourself. And I brought receipts. So it would be pretty easy to like look at my platform and look at me now and be like, oh my God, overnight success. You know, like I'm doing what I love and I have a great community and everything's pretty organized. But this story actually begins like way back in the early 2000s. My first business venture, my first ever business venture that I can remember anyway. I'm sure I did things. I'm like a born entrepreneur. But anyway, my first thing that I ever did was to flip a house. So I invested in a house and it cost me $50,000. Okay, I invested in a house, it cost me $50,000. And then I spent, I would say like about $20,000 renovating it. So here's just like one of I did the whole house, but this is just one of the before pictures, the easiest one for me to find. The bathroom. Before. And then here's the bathroom after I renovated it. It was DIY, I did it all myself. Okay, this is my first business venture, my first foray into the entrepreneurship world. So then I noticed that like, you know, I'm artistic and I'm pretty good at painting. And so my next venture, pretty sure this photo was taken in 2011. It's 2023. My next venture was to start painting murals for children's bedrooms. So at this time I'm in my late 20s and I am working a full-time 9-to-5 job. So I'm doing this like as a side gig and I'm not even covering my expenses. Here's another one of my murals. I mean, not bad, pretty cute, but I don't know what the hell I was doing. All right, so I'm a single girly in my late 20s living on my own, working full-time. And my boyfriend at the time convinced me that I needed to go and get my handgun license, right? So that I could protect myself if something were to happen. And so I said, sure, okay. And I went with him because he needed to get his license renewed. And I went with him to the class and it was horrible. Like the emphasis was not on like using this as a tool for safety and protection. Like the emphasis was all politics. It was very male oriented. It was not my jam. And I was like, I can do this better. Here I go again. I can do this better. So after that class, I became a handgun instructor. And then I started a women's gun club and I started teaching my own handgun classes, but based on like technique and safety and not based on politics and never talking about like the desire to kill people. That's insane, right? Like I'm always like, no, that's the last thing that you want to do. But if you have this tool in your house, like you need to know how to use it, right? You need to know how to protect yourself, but you also need to know how to use this safely, right? So I became Miss Pistol. This is 2012. I mean, I'm just jumping all over the place and just bouncing around. This is 2012. I became Miss Pistol and it was going great. And then my boyfriend and I decided to get married in December 2012. And then in the fall of 2013, December 2012, I had a miscarriage in early 2013. And then in the fall of 2013, I was gonna have a baby. And I learned that being around lead is really just not a good thing. Not a good thing when you're pregnant, not a good thing when you have small children. And so I scrapped it. I just scrapped the whole thing. And I went full-time mom mode for 2 years, like very hands-on with my kid, stay-at-home mom. I had a stepdaughter. Like it was my main focus. Like I was literally just trying to survive and, keep my head above water. But once my son turned 2, I was like, time to start another business. And so I started making custom t-shirts for myself and for my friends and for their kids. So here's my 2-year-old son wearing one of my custom shirts. Sorry I'm late, I didn't want to come. And I would make with my Cricut machine. This is all out of my house and I had a little heat press. I would make all kinds of custom shirts for every season, for every holiday, and I went all in on this. Again, just focused on my interest and my hobby, not focused on any real business strategy, never making more than I was spending. Just showing up for it, right? Showing up for it with my creativity. And so after I learned that when you have that type of business and you don't like outsource or you don't figure out how to scale, you become the bottleneck. And so it went well, but I got lots of orders and I was doing it all by myself as a full-time mom. So I got overwhelmed and then I scrapped that one. But I didn't stop there. I realized once my son started talking that affirmations would be really good for him. It'd be really, really good if I could help him. There he is. If I could help him like see his world in a more positive light. So he collaborated with me at like 3 years old to create a series of children's books. Again, still as a full-time mom, that was my main gig, my whole job, but I had to do something on the side. So I created an entire series of children's books with my son. So cute. And the series was called Repeat After Me, Kids. So each page was a different affirmation, a really cute thing to read at bedtime. And then the unthinkable happened. We basically have 4 kids in our household. And then I found out that my now ex-husband and I were not going to be married anymore. So I had to figure out what the hell I was going to do with my life. And this time I couldn't just start a business as a hobby. This time I couldn't just go all willy-nilly into it, right? I couldn't just do it for fun or creativity or for an outlet. Like this time it had to pay the bills. And there's a lot of backstory to this, but basically I didn't have very much savings coming out of this marriage. And so I used my last $5,000 to invest in a coaching certification and started my business, Tangent DB Coaching. It took an entire year. It's like 80 something hours of coursework and at least like 40 hours of working with buddies and coaching each other, and then 100 hours of coaching clients live, paid. But I did it. I got the full certification. Here I am, so cute. And then I started trying to market myself, and I ran into another roadblock and another like massive expense, right? Just trying to get coaches and throwing spaghetti at the wall, trying to figure out like, how do I market myself and how do I get clients? And I figured out around this time that every client that I was getting, I was pulling their human design chart. So I had already been studying human design for a little bit, but I wasn't marketing myself that way because I didn't think that I was an expert at human design by any means. But I did start pulling their charts with their consent, right? Behind the scenes, and just kind of like cross-referencing what they were saying with what I was coaching them on and what they were, what the outcomes that they were looking for. And so I ran my coaching business while I continued to study human design, and I decided randomly to post on TikTok one day with my hot pink hair about how the guy that I started dating after my divorce was about to break up with me and how I knew it using human design. And that post fortunately took off and gave me some clarity and some understanding around what my audience was looking for from me, and it also empowered me as a person who was reading human design charts on the side and for free, that I could be someone that talks about human design publicly. And so that was just over, well, the last photo was, anyways, it was like 18 months ago. Dang, time flies. And if you made it all the way this far, I just want you to know that I don't want it to be this hard for you. And so my friends and I have come together for something called Metaphysical Marketing Boot Camp. And so we're going to combine human design with your vision and the best marketing for you so that you can take a shortcut that I missed.